Okay, I have very recently found out about um, a festival that's been going on worldwide, a Muslim festival that's been happening for the last few days. Um, Now, I was approached on TikTok by someone who follows me. He did explain it for me, which was great, really useful. Um, so, I wrote some of it down. Um, and then I looked into other aspects of it as well while he was explaining it to me, um, which I like to do as well. Um, so, Eid al Fitr is one of two small holy days, holy festivals that happen in the Muslim calendar. This one is the smaller of the two, the lesser of the two, and it is called lesser. It's the lesser of the two, um, and lasts for 3 days. And it finishes today. I'm really late to this one. But now, but he said that they prepare for this days in advance. So nearer the end of Ramadan, what they do is they clean their entire house. They buy new clothes for the entire family, children included. You know, everybody gets new clothes. Because throughout this festival they have to wear new things. They're not allowed to wear what they've got in their, like whatever they've already got. They have to wear new clothes. It's about cleansing, from what I can gather. So they have to purify themselves. It's cleansing and purification. Okay. So Ramadan is all about fasting, and it's all about, things like that. The end of Ramadan, they then have to purify themselves. They have to cleanse their body. There's like a cleansing ritual. I found that interesting because I didn't think people still do things like that. But they perform a cleansing ritual as like a body cleansing ritual at the beginning of each day, and then they will put on new garments, new clothes, before they do their morning prayers. Now they have to do their morning prayers. Then they go to the mosque where they'll have prayers done at the mosque. Okay. Then after that, they can have they set up like massive feasts. It's like feasts everywhere, food everywhere. And it's like cookies. It's like you can have like proper food everywhere. You are not allowed to fast during this entire feast. Throughout those 3 days, you are not allowed to fast at all. You're just not. So they go home. There's food. They just eat and they greet their friends, their families, their whatever, with blessings of the day, blessings of Eid. I forgot to write them down actually. You did give me a couple of phrases and I forgot to write them down. So they do all of that. After they've done, this is all going on, they also do things like they perform like a zakat. That is what I found out. It's called charity. So, and it's part of their way of purifying themselves. from any indecent acts or speeches or whatever, or things that they've said or done during Ramadan. And so they'll give things to the poor, distribute sweets, things like that. And then they eat. And they'll eat anything. There's a lot of things that they'll eat. They'll eat cookies, they can eat kebabs, there'll be biryanis, there'll be halims, there'll be varieties of all sorts and everything. This can be done in like a communal area where there'll be like a festival going on, like stalls with like loads of different stalls with different foods, like sweet things or savoury, or like a massive type festival thing. And it can be done in private. And it's a lot of it, some of it is done in private, because in private, that is where you greet all your family and your friends. But there is food everywhere, from what I found and what he told me. You're eating, and you're greeting friends. And the elders, parents, grandparents, I'm assuming, will give children money. I don't quite know why, but they do. Now, they do this. They offer what's called salat prayers. Found out what that is. That means holiday prayers, right? And they are mandatory. Mandatory prayers. Okay, then they go to the mosque. These are things that they do all through these 3 days. Okay, so it's not just something that happens randomly throughout the festival. They happen throughout the 3 days. They're not just things that just happen whenever they can be bothered. So the salat prayers are mandatory. I don't know when they actually happen, but they are mandatory. And then they go to the mosque, and when they're in the mosque in groups. So when I'm assuming the salat prayers are in groups, so they're in the mosque doing the salat prayers in groups, I'm assuming. So yeah. These are all things that happen over the course of these 3 days. And I do want to thank Maida, don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, for giving me a lot of information. I mean, I did go and have a look as well, so that I had a bit more kind of things to, but did find it interesting that this has been going on for the last few days and I didn't even know about it. Happens worldwide, and apparently it happens differently depending on where you are in the world. Not everywhere does everything exactly the same, which I did find quite interesting. Not everywhere in the world do children get offered money. Not everywhere in the world do things like that happen. So I mean, there are things about this festival that changes slightly from country to country. But I do think it's really interesting that at the end of Ramadan, they have set days where they can gather, and feast together, bring the community, the Muslim community together, and rejoice. And, I think that's actually quite incredible. And it has that they honour their religion, they honour their faith, they do their prayers in the morning, they go to mosque. They do all of that. and then they celebrate. You know, they greet each other, they enjoy the abundance that they've been given, and they appreciate everything they have, because throughout the whole of Ramadan they've had to restrict themselves, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, throughout these 3 days they're being allowed, they're being told that, you know, saying, look, this is about holding back and controlling yourself and learning to appreciate everything you've got and everything you've been given on top of everything else. Now, you know, you can enjoy the abundance that's before you. You know, I think that's quite incredible. You know, and I'm hoping that next year I can do this video a little bit more justice. And actually at the right time, rather than like at the end of the festival, like at the beginning, you know. So I'm hoping next year I can do this one a little bit more justice. Because I do feel that I should have, realistically, but we're now at the end of it. And yeah, so next year I will try to make sure that I do enough research and get a bit more kind of picture and a better kind of video out there to really do this more justice. But I hope that I've done it enough justice, and yeah, thank you for yeah, wouldn't have known anything about it if it wasn't for my lovely friend on TikTok. So yeah, blessings and enjoy the last of the days.